Oh, sorry.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, distinguished members of the UN Correspondents Association, Your Excellencies, colleagues, and friends. Thank you for this honor. It is profoundly humbling, and I am grateful to share this time with you and to bear witness to your incredible work. I believe journalism to be the bedrock of that empathy, cooperation, and understanding are built upon. So much of the philanthropic work I have done, whether it to be to support human rights or promote dignity for refugees and displaced people, or strengthen environmental protections, has been inspired by stories you've reported. Your reporting is the essential element that builds pressure and creates change. Thank you. It dictates, it dictates our collective understanding, and your stories turn distant suffering into realities we feel deeply and cannot ignore. You hold our leaders accountable, expose corruption, and demand transparency from our governments. And for that, thank you so much. If you're here tonight, chances are you believe in freedom of the press, obviously. Yet, journalists risk their freedom and too often their lives doing their job. And that's why tonight I have to acknowledge the situation for journalists in Gaza. Reporting there has required unimaginable courage. Many journalists have been killed while simply trying to document reality. Their deaths are a devastating reminder that truth can be dangerous and that those who pursued the truth deserve protection, not persecution from their assassins. Since October 7, 2023, the Israeli military has murdered 206 Palestinian journalists and media workers in Gaza, making the deadliest conflict for journalists in modern warfare, if not ever. But we can't let the numbers and statistics remove the humanity behind the tragedy. We must continue to share the names and stories of these brave journalists. Journalists like Bilal Hadallah, who was killed by an Israeli airstrike that hit his car. Or journalists like Rosdi Sarah, who was killed when an Israeli missile struck his family home, injuring his wife and young daughter, just to name a few. We honor their memory and we call for the safety and freedom of all reporters working in zones of conflict. I'd like to share the story of one journalist and writer who joins us here tonight, Mohamed Mwawish. Mohamed is a contributor to The New Yorker and New York Magazine and has written for The Nation, 972 Magazine, MSNBC, The Economist, and Al Jazeera, all from the ground in Gaza during the genocide. Originally from Gaza City, he and his family fled Gaza 7 months after. Thank you very much. I just landed from Madrid on a plane. I guess this is why. At the bottom. In the middle. Thank you. Originally from Gaza City, he and his family fled Gaza 7 months after his home was destroyed in the bombing. He has been living in exile since, but he still reports. He now lives far from home, navigating the struggles of displacement in a new kind of trauma. In his words, the dislocation of exile from our homeland. Mohamed, thank you for your continued bravery as you report on your life experience and bring stories of humanity to all of us. Please, let's recognize Mohammed. Thank you. Another Palestinian journalist I'd like to recognize is Motaz Asaisa. For 107 days, Motaz risked his life on the front lines of the Gaza massacre, documenting the destruction and carnage across his homeland. His unfiltered images made the conflict impossible to ignore for millions of people across the world. And now, he's channeling the massive audience he's built into an incredible organization, the Motaz Foundation, providing food, water, blankets, and shelter to those still trapped in the devastation. As global citizens, we share a responsibility to protect journalists. That's why I have teamed up with the Committee to Protect Journalists to call for immediate access to Gaza for international media and accountability for the killing of journalists, not to mention the tens of thousands of innocent children, women, and men. We cannot be global citizens if we refuse to see what is happening in the world, and you open our eyes. For example, you enable the world to see that climate change is here in our everyday reality. We are crossing all of the planet's red lines. Millions of people find themselves literally with water up to their necks or burning hot as fire and extreme heat strike their lives with great force. The scientific warning is very clear. If we continue emitting gases at the rate we do now, the remaining carbon budget will be exhausted in only 3 years. And yet the outcome of the 30th UN Climate Change Conference in Brazil just a few weeks ago does not rise to the level of urgency that science is telling us we face. I would like to believe that the energy of indigenous people and communities around the world will be able to move mountains, that science will be enough to guide decisions, that the courts will rule in favor of justice, that evidence will drive ambition, and that urgency will bring generosity from all sides. But we also need global political courage to jointly activate unprecedented climate action that protects biodiversity and major ecosystems like the Amazon or the Arctic, halts the fossil-based economic system, unlocks the necessary climate finance, and protects present and future generations. We urgently need climate justice and alternative proposals that give us hope. We must always stand for human rights and never give up, like the Sahrawi people. And in this critical moment for them, we need to reaffirm the right to self-determination for the Sahrawi people in Western Sahara, which includes a just and definitive political solution and the release of Sahrawi political prisoners. It is a great honor to be recognized as this year's Global Citizen by UNCA, but this isn't about me, this is about you. You have inspired me and so many others to push for positive change in the world. Your stories, your images, your questions are served into the public consciousness and into mine. We, the public, can and must support quality journalism, pay for it when we can, defend it when it's attacked, and refuse to look away. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this recognition, and thank you for your service to humanity. Through your work, we realize that despite our differences, we share a common humanity, a shared desire for peace, dignity, and justice. Muchas gracias.
Nothing quite like those quiet moments shared between gentlemen that we won't share with the rest of the room. Oh, No one's paying attention. All right, Javier Bardem, the Global Citizen of the Year. Come on. Come on. What an amazing speech. What an amazing speech. Ladies and gentlemen, that basically